You're watching Nevada Business Chronicles. Take a journey with us to see the innovative businesses that put Nevada on the business map. Connecting you with the businesses, events, and organizations that bring innovation and prosperity to the Nevada area, please welcome your host, Mitch Burney.
This incredible backdrop, Lake Tahoe, the site we're standing on, the upcoming site for the 11th annual Red, White, and Tahoe Blue. This is Brad Perry, board chair. Thanks so much for joining us.
Great to be here.
Real excited to share this upcoming event. And we are literally standing on the beach where it's going to start.
Yeah, fireworks will shoot off right behind us here. So.
Now this event, July 1st through 4th, has a lot of components and a lot of history. So if you wouldn't mind, start with the history of the Red, White, and Tahoe Blue.
Well, like you said, it's the 11th year. This is an all-volunteer community 4th of July celebration, and it has just been an incredible thing to be involved with. This is my second year with it, and it's just 4 days of pancake breakfasts and wonderful parade through downtown. Fireworks, our fireworks have actually been ranked as high as 6th in the nation from USA Travel. This is just a wonderful place to live and work, and we really see that on the 4th of July when this whole town comes together and just parties for 4 days.
You mentioned the fireworks. You actually put a barge out on the water, and you synchronize this to the music.
Yeah, so we're very fortunate. The past 2 years, we've had a military group come up. Last year, we had the Air National Guard Band of the West Coast. This year, we have the Marine Band of San Diego, 45-piece military band in full concert dress on the main stage, just that way on the Village Green. And so people can actually sit and watch that concert, and the military band is choreographed with the fireworks.
Synchronized fireworks, live music, military band, epic right there in itself. But it gets greater than even that. You talked about the community that comes out for this event.
Yeah.
If you haven't been here before, this is a must-do 4th of July event. So let's talk about the action-packed fun for 4 days.
Yeah, right on the Village Green, we have a 50-foot stage that's all open to the public, live entertainment, for 2 of the days with the beer gardens, food vendors, a community fair, craft fair, all that's going on the Village Green. And then for the parade, we have a kids bike parade. And if you've never seen this, it's great. See all these kids decorate their bikes, and they have their own parade right before there. So there's things like that. And then of course our veterans events are our signature for this event. We have over 6 different veterans events spread out over the 4 days, including a flag retirement right over here on the beach, a veterans pancake breakfast, and then the signature event that everyone looks forward to is right behind us, a pararescue demonstration. The folks from the Coast Guard come up and they actually do a rescue demonstration where they drop into the lake right behind us and save a person.
I love that this is more than just a 4th of July celebration. July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Yeah. It's a whole 4-day experience. And you were mentioning it's a community event, takes a community to put it on. You got a lot of businesses coming out to provide both services and things for sale. So let's talk about that and what it is that the community can do to help support this event.
Yeah, Incline Village has one of the highest concentrations of nonprofits in the area, and so one thing we love to do is collaborate with those nonprofits, and they're definitely in full force in the booth space, and they love to share with the community what they're doing, whether it's Pet Network or any of the many fine nonprofits. Local businesses, local restaurants are involved in the food booth area. A local business owner is doing the beer gardens, so we really just involve as many people from the community as we can.
So at this point, you're still looking for help creating this year's event. So let's talk about how people can get involved and come out and have a good time and support a great event.
This entire event is only possible from volunteers. It's an all-volunteer board. No one gets paid, but the entire thing happens because people come out and they volunteer and support and help it. And we really need those volunteers. It's becoming that time when we're looking for volunteers now. And there's a lot of variety of ways people can be involved. from anything from being involved with the stage. If you're a music lover, you can volunteer at the stage and hang out with the bands, and it doesn't have to be a task or something that's a lot of work. You can find something that you're interested in, that you love to do, whether it's kids with the kids activities, helping out on the bike parade, or maybe you're a little bit of a pyro and you want to help load fireworks onto the barge. I mean, there's so many different ways people can come and be a part of this and just help, and we are definitely looking for those volunteers right now. Yeah, the more volunteers that we get, then it kind of takes the burden off of the group, and you can come out and volunteer for something you're interested in, but also get to hang out and enjoy the rest of the event and not be, stuck doing something for all 4 days. So the more people we get involved, the better.
Some people will want to come out and volunteer,
right,
and other people still want to contribute to the supporting this event so it continues. I mean, this is becoming cultural history here in Incline Village.
Yeah, well, it takes a village to put this on, and it's not just volunteers, but also just the financial support. This entire event comes from the generosity of the community. There's a lot of communities that have to fundraise for fireworks, but we take that to a whole nother level with free music for the public, the whole community fair in Village Green, and it does take a financial contributions to make that happen. So we are always looking for donors. Also, just of course, thanking the ones that have made this possible for the last 10 years. Last year's 10th anniversary was a huge success. But looking forward, we always want to involve more people, and are always looking for new donors as well.
To become a volunteer or to make a donation, visit the redwhitetahoeblue.org. Brad Perry, board chair, thank you so much for putting this event on for our community.
My pleasure.
For more information on this guest or to see this show in its entirety, visit nvbusinesschronicles.com. While you're there, you can watch all of our past shows on the Chronicles page and stay connected with us by following us on our social media. Now more from Nevada Business Chronicles.
Recently, we've been discussing the Nevada Women's Expo coming up April 22nd, April 23rd at the Grand Sierra. Joining us again, Joy Kincaid, Sharon Angle, and a special guest, Linda Schmidt, with the Esther's Closet in support of the Hosanna Home. And what I want to look at today is that the Nevada Women's Expo, it's more than just an expo for women. You give back to the community, and so that's why Linda's here with us today. I want to talk a little bit about the charitable side of when people come and support your event and when businesses register to be in your event, where some of that money goes.
That's why we're so excited about Nevada Women's Expo. That's why Joy and I got into the business, because it's not just for women, it's all about women. And one of the things that we're about is helping the women in our community, and that's where Linda Schmidt comes in with Esther's Closet and Hosanna Home, because that's exactly what they do, is they help women in our community who have a need to get from one situation to another to improve their circumstances. And that's why we featured them as our charity in the Fall Expo. And today we're here to give them a check for $2,000 that we want to go toward their ministry in this community here.
Well, let's ask Linda a little bit about the Esther's Closet and in support of the Hosanna Home.
Hosanna Home is a transitional shelter that takes care of women who have had something end in their life and they end up homeless, and we help them get restarted. We also have a home for women with children under 4, where they are reunifying with their children. And so those two programs are what Esther's Closet supports. So many ladies who come have nothing. They've been thrown out on the street, been evicted for whatever reason, and they need clothing to look for work, they need clothing to go to church, they need clothing to just live. And so Esther's Closet was a dream that we had to just clothe the women, and it's kind of blossomed into an amazing place where clothing is actually sold at a very reduced rate. We call it our boutique, and that helps to pay for their utilities for both of the houses.
When did Esther's Closet and Hosanna Home get their start? How many people have you serviced, and how many women with kids included are back on their feet because of this organization?
We started in 2006. Our first woman came in 2008. We actually have only 7 beds in our home and 4 at Leah's house, which is the moms and children's home. We have had 170 women go through our program, And we've had about 12 in the last year that we've helped reunite with their children. It's an amazing thing, isn't it? And sometimes they just need a hand up. They just need someone to give them some hope and some help.
If you want to support Esther's Closet, which 100% of the proceeds goes to the Hosanna Home, you can visit them in the Greenbrae Center in Sparks or visit hosannahome.org. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And for what you do for women in transition.
Thank you.
Now stay with us. We're going to go visit the next organization that's being featured in this upcoming Nevada Women's Expo event, the Ronald McDonald House. So come with us.
For more information on this guest or to see this show in its entirety, visit nvbusinesschronicles.com. While you're there, you can watch all of our past shows on the Chronicles page and stay connected with us by following us on our social media. Now more from Nevada Business Chronicles.
So this is the Ronald McDonald House. Some personal history here. Tell us a little bit about your experience and why the Ronald McDonald House is your selection for the recipient from this upcoming expo.
Well, Mitch, as we touched on at the last episode, we were with Benjamin down at Palo Alto Children's Hospital at Lucille Packard at Stanford, and they have a wonderful Ronald McDonald House down there that I was fortunate enough to stay in for a month while he was in the hospital there. So my family and I benefited from Ronald McDonald House, and we just saw that there was a need, and we realized that not all funding comes from the places that you think it would come from. So we decided to make Ronald McDonald House our charity for the event coming up in April.
A great cause, great program. Let's go inside and meet the people that run the Reno branch. Let's do it. This is Marty Ozer, Executive Director, Rachel Cattuso, Marketing Communications Manager for the Ronald McDonald House in Reno. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
If you wouldn't mind, tell me a little bit about the Ronald McDonald House, when it got its start here in Reno, how it's funded, who funds it, which is going to surprise a lot of people, and what kind of services you provide.
The house is 30 years old this year, and it was built strictly to be a Ronald McDonald House. It's not a conversion or anything like that. It was built from the ground up as a Ronald McDonald House. And we've been here, we have 12 bedrooms. Families that have a sick child in the hospital who live 30 miles from Reno, or the hospital itself, can stay here. It's $10 a night. We ask that as a donation from the families. If they cannot afford it, they don't have to pay anything. We never turn anybody away. And we have home-cooked meals coming in just about every night. We have volunteers, which are chefs. It's called the Chef's Program. And you smelled it before with the cookies that were upstairs. We really have an amazing group of volunteers. Without volunteers, we couldn't make this place go. So we're glad you're here, and we're glad that we were able to tell our story to everybody.
Marty has a great point. It really is very important for us to have volunteers that help us run the house. They come in and cook chef meals and cookies, but also they're part of the community, and the community is really more important to the Ronald McDonald House than many people think. Many people make the assumption that because McDonald's is in our actual charity name, that we're 100% funded by McDonald's. Now, while McDonald's is a wonderful mission partner, actually every year we're tasked with raising 92 to 98% of our funding directly from the community. So the dollars that you drop in canisters, if you make a straight donation to the house, that all comes directly to us, and it goes to our families. $10 represents one night for one family in the house. So dollars have a big impact in the community. An event like Nevada Women's Expo is hugely beneficial for us because it gets us out there. We get some exposure to some of the wonderful community members. And then, being a beneficiary of the event, of course, that enables us to help way more families than we might have been able to otherwise.
Sure, others are going to be as surprised as I was to know that you have to raise that great of a percentage of the money that it takes to run this house in Reno. Really excited this upcoming expo. The more people that turn out, the more businesses that register, the greater the donation to the Ronald McDonald House in Reno. And there's some other events coming up that we might as well plug while we're here too.
There are. If you consider the fact that we serve on average about 160 to 170 families here in the house alone every year, our events become a really personal way to get emotionally invested in keeping a family close during their personal crisis during their child's hospitalization. So on June 2nd, we have our 32nd annual RMHC Golf Tournament. That's at Red Hawk Golf and Resort. You can find that information on our website. That's www.rmhc-reno.org. Save the date, Friday, October 6th. That's our annual Red Shoe Gala. We're celebrating 30 years this year. That'll be at the Atlantis Casino Resort Spa. We have July 14, which is a fundraiser at the Reno Aces Stadium. We call it Bad Songs for a Good Cause. You purchase a really uncharacteristic song for the baseball players to play as they go up to bat, and those proceeds come to the house. But there's a slew of events, especially including the Nevada Women's Expo, which means that for the nominal price for entrance, these people who are coming to this expo get the chance to do some great things for themselves and also pay it forward in the community a little bit, especially for our families who have to avail themselves of the house's services. But you can find all of that information on our website. Again, that's www.rmhc-reno.org, or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
So it's a 2-for-1. Come down to the Nevada Women's Expo April 22nd, April 23rd, and support the Ronald McDonald House. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us, Mitch.
For more information on this guest or to see this show in its entirety, visit nvbusinesschronicles.com. While you're there, you can watch all of our past shows on the Chronicles page and stay connected with us by following us on our social media. Now more from Nevada Business Chronicles.
If you follow our shows, recently, back in January, we visited an organization called Power Health Reno. At that time, we introduced you to a new concept in healthcare called functional medicine, where they treat the individual, not the diagnosis. At that time, we also introduced Nicole, one of their patients that agreed to allow us to follow her case from the inception through her treatment program. And now we're about 3 months into her 6-month program and ready to provide you an update. Let's start by taking a look where Nicole started in her treatment.
So Nicole, what is it that brought you in here today? What is it that you're looking for us to maybe help you with?
So I was diagnosed with Lyme disease about a couple weeks ago, and I have a friend in my hometown that has been working on a Lyme treatment for about 2 years, and is to the point that she can't hardly get out of bed. She's only awake 2 or 3 hours. And so I'm a single mom and the only source of income for me and my kiddo. And I work for a nonprofit here in town that helps commercially sexually exploited victims. And so I'm on the go a ton, and that's not really an option for me. So I reached out and found another lady that goes to my church who's been through the Lyme process, I guess you could say, and met with her and just asked her, like, knowing everything you've done for the past 10 years, what would you do differently? And she told me about your guys' practice and sold me on it.
Yeah, she had been there and then she came over here.
Yep.
Yeah. So having gone over all of your findings from the exam, we know what we're going to do test-wise now. Basically what we do in the beginning is you have a chronic stress syndrome that has to be addressed. If that syndrome is not addressed, we will never get long-term success on you. Okay, we'll get intermittent success, and that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for you to get better, be done, and be out of here and have the tools to stay better on your own. Our goal is ultimately to monitor you through all of this, and in the end, the product we should have is most of this stuff should be gone. You're not going to be 100% better because you have an autoimmune problem, but you are going to feel normal most of the time. You're going to have exercises that are going to keep that stress mechanism under control. You're going to have a diet exactly correct for your system, and you are going to have as few supplements as possible. Now, I understand that you've agreed to allow us to follow through on this program for this presentation, and that's something I really appreciate. I think a lot of people will be very excited to actually see what you're going to look and feel like, a couple of months down the road. And we're pretty confident that the results here are going to be very good.
Awesome. When do we start?
All right. When do we start?
Right.
She where she should be right now. I mean, 10 days in recent memory, the best 10 days she's had, says a lot. There's a lot of hope in that. How does this work? Where should she be?
So that's
right now?
absolutely normal. For chronic pain patients where they've had these problems for months or years, for them to get 10 minutes of relief is a good sign. So the fact that Nicole had 10 days of relief is beautiful. Now we know why she got exacerbated and her symptoms kind of returned this last week, and I'll explain why.
Nicole, it's been close to 6 weeks since we've seen you last.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. What happened to the other half of you? Oh my gosh.
Well, last time you guys were here, he literally had changed my diet that day and decreased even more of the fruits and vegetables that I could have. And Dr. Gates did it again. He took away meat, so I'm now strictly on a vegetarian diet, but that's probably been a huge result of that.
Well, you look great.
Thank you.
Unbelievable. I mean, just right there alone would be enough for most people to want to go through this.
Thank you.
There's been some other realities that have progressed through this time as well.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So I feel like having the opportunity to experience good days, which I haven't had in years probably, brought a lot of clarity of thought. And so through that process have realized just some traumatic memories that have come up from my childhood and my past, and just really started to analyze the stress mechanisms that were going on in my brain to cause me to be in this really bad spot. And so having the good days gave me the clarity to start seeking out what are those triggers, what are the things that are causing it. And so I've been able to process and work through some of the traumatic memories, and also realize that my career path that I had chosen was a huge trigger for me, and was hindering what I'm trying to do here. So it's made some big life changes in the past couple of weeks, but they've been awesome. I've had huge numbers more, I guess you could say, of longer good days and getting more sleep at night. And so to the point where now I can instantly pinpoint the bad thing that causes me not to be able to sleep or that causes me to kind of take steps backwards. Whereas before I just really had no clue what was going on.
It sounds like in the past everything was so out of control you couldn't really isolate what was happening.
Yeah.
It just felt like everything was responsible. But once you started to have some really good, restful, quality days in life, you started to realize exactly what was fracturing that.
Exactly.
And have been able to address those because you feel good enough and well enough to? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, definitely the clarity. It's almost like, I feel like it's like a ball of yarn where you don't know what ends or what, and it's just a rotted mess. And before, that was my life. Like that was literally how everything was, and I couldn't pick things apart. And now I can have a bad day and I can find that string and I can trace it back to what caused it and then be able to address what that root problem was.
Amazing. What a transformation. You look great.
Thank you.
We're still going to have to go outside and see if we can find the other half.
Thank you.
Dr. Gates, it wasn't that many weeks ago that I first met Nicole, and I'm sorry to kind of say it this way, but really broken at that point in time. And what I'm seeing today is a completely different human being. Tell me, first of all, that's got to be so rewarding for you to do this for people throughout the entire year. But how does this actually happen? Because this is not the same person.
Well, first of all, we're a team. So she's a fantastic patient, and it doesn't happen if you don't have commitment on both sides. More specifically, though, relative to physiology, the stress response is underestimated in chronic disease. So the chronic stress that plagues the human body and the brain's inability to shut off that stress results in so many physiologic dysfunctions that then other people are chasing. We address those physiologic dysfunctions from the thyroid to the blood sugar to the hormones. But now by correcting her stress mechanism, she's sleeping better, she feels better, she has more energy because her adrenal glands can heal, and that's why the transformation has happened so quickly.
Physical, emotional, it's complete, but it's more than just losing weight and being able to sleep because you're feeling better physically. There's brain science that's going on, neurological
Absolutely.
science as well. Can you show us a little bit about
I'd be
that?
happy to.
Perfect.
Yes. Here we have a diagram of the brain and the metabolic aspects that were wrong with Nicole. Now in this office we integrate functional medicine with functional neurology. Really what that means is we figure out what was wrong in her metabolism that was messing up her brain and not allowing that stress mechanism to calm down. So for Nicole, that included conditions such as Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is where the immune system attacks the thyroid. Her body was making too much cortisol. She was resistant to insulin, so when she was eating carbohydrates, she was making too much insulin. Since we've changed that, that's why she's lost weight, and that's part of the reason why her energy is coming back. In addition, we've been working with her female hormones as well as her gastrointestinal bacteria. The result of fixing all those different things is that then the frontal lobes can work better, and the exercises we give to the frontal lobes to strengthen them then can start to work. The end result, the fear area is shut off, and then the individual can start to sleep, they have better energy, they have better days because their body can then heal.
They're able to differentiate what the real triggers are in their life and then have the energy to even address those, is what this sounds like. This is like an all-inclusive, functional medicine, I think, is a real new, innovative concept to a lot of people. But if I'm getting this right, instead of treating out here I have headaches, so we give aspirin for a headache, or over here I have stomach problems, so we give you something for that, you're taking care of the physiology and the brain, and all of these things are disappearing outside of that.
You got it. And it sounds cheesy to say we get to the underlying cause, but with this model, we're really trying to get to the underlying causes here, because when you do, then the brain can resynchronize and the body can come back into balance.
And a transformation like this then becomes not just possible, but a reality every day of the week for you. With people that participate at the level that Nicole has, of course.
Absolutely. And again, she was a perfect patient. It takes that commitment on both sides, my commitment and the patient's commitment, for this to happen. And she absolutely has had that.
And one thing I want to make sure too is that Nicole's not done here. This is about what? The midway point of her program?
Exactly. And we look at this as a fork in the road. Patients are on a path of chronic disease. Frankly, most of them are heading downhill. And then we stop and we look at what the aspects of the physiology are that are disturbed. We start to correct them. We start to get the brain in balance. And now they're on a different path. And as long as we keep following the principles and keep staying to the program, her path is going to be completely different than where she was going towards.
We've already seen a significant, undeniable change and transformation in Nicole's progress here. Would you be okay with us continuing to follow this through your completion of this program?
Absolutely.
Great.
Awesome.
Doctor, I'm thinking right now there are people that are inspired by Nicole's progress, that are thinking, you know, all of my life I've been plagued with these things that I've tried and tried and tried, and many people have given up hope. And those are the people that should be contacting you. I think there are going to be some people inspired by Nicole's progress. How would they get a hold of you?
They get a hold of us by contacting us at 775-329-4402. They can also go to www.powerhealthreno.com.
That's Dr. Gates with Power Health in Reno. And Nicole, thank you so much for allowing us to follow your case and being so open with everybody so they can get a feel for what's possible for them too. Thank you.
For more information on this guest or to see this show in its entirety, visit nvbusinesschronicles.com.